right, well, let's move on and away to a category that all of us very well understand, and that's real estate. Relatively fewer jargons over here, I'll say that much. And even if there are, everybody understands that, because real estate is something that all of us have a very keen personal interest in. Now, what's interesting is that we've obviously been talking about how inventory in realty has ballooned across cities, especially across major metro cities. And now, to make things worse, we have the COVID crisis. At this juncture, when individuals are struggling with meeting their two ends meet because of perhaps them losing their job or incomes being reduced, the prospects of realty sales happening have reduced, and hence developers have started resorting to freebies, to discounts, to all kinds of schemes, offers, so on and so forth. So for those who are fortunate enough to be having cash with them, who have been looking around to buy a house for their consumption, or even for that matter looking to park their money for investment, firstly, is an investment in real estate prudent right now? Secondly, if you want to buy a house, should you do it right now? And thirdly, what are the fine prints behind all of these discounts, offers and schemes? To talk about all of this and of course the pricing, I have with me Prashant Thakur, the head of research with ANAROCK Property Consultants. Prashant, great having you back with us on the Money Show. I hope you and the team at ANAROCK are doing well. Let's start off first, Prashant, with the entire environment of freebies and discounts that we've been seeing a lot of group companies give. The Ranwal Group, the Gore Group, Godrej Properties, these are just a couple of them. Even Raheja's, in fact, have been slashing prices. In fact, personally speaking, I got a call from a realty developer who was willing to sell me a property in Worli of 10 crore rupees to as low as 6 crore rupees. So these are the kind of deep discounting that we've been witnessing. So Prashant, firstly, let's get in your take on this. I mean, is it really that bad, the entire situation?
Good evening, Mubina. Real estate is a topic, which refuses to kind of, lose its limelight. I think this is the time when everybody is looking at real estate with various angles. But in my opinion, I have been saying this earlier also, that this is the end user market, and this is the best time for any end user who has money at his disposal and is looking to buy a house. Now, let us understand one thing, that home buying process is a process that involves a long-term planning. And few of the people who would have been, poorly accumulating money for making a purchase, I think for them this is the best time. And as you rightly said, that developers are willing to sit across the table and offer you a good payment, a good scheme, and to a certain extent, a lot of freebie. Because for them also, they have realized that the only way to keep their cash flow ticking is through actual sales, because all the avenues of financing and refinancing have dried up for the developers, and now they're totally dependent on the cash flow from the projects by selling the projects. Now, if we have to look at from the buyer's point of view, what are the things that is in his favor? Number one, as you rightly said, that there is huge amount of unsold inventory, which is close to 6,44,000 spread across the top 7 cities, and also out of which approximately 80,000 units are ready to move. So that means if I buy today, there is no possession delay. I buy and move. So if me as a buyer, I don't want to take execution risk, I think this is the best time. And also, if you look at the interest rate, they're at a historical low level. So a couple of things that is in the favor. Developer is willing to sit across the table. Your interest rates are quite low. You have huge amount of ready-to-move inventory to choose from. So I think these are the things that would be in the favor of buyers. Now, to answer the second part of your question, that should an investor be looking at this market right now? So honestly, I would advise any investor who is looking to invest in real estate should stay away from this market for a couple of years, because this is not the right time to buy for pure investment point of view. If the person is really interested in real estate as an asset class, I think he should focus on income yielding assets like some retail or commercial assets. But residential, for sure, the person needs to wait. And also, the one point that a buyer needs to keep into mind at this point of time, that if he or she is buying an under construction property at this stage, there needs to be a proper due diligence done on the developer's ability to complete the project, because the times are very tough. You don't know which developer is having a deep hole in his balance sheet, whether that developer will be able to complete or not. So if you are buying a ready-to-move-in property, there is no risk. But if you are buying an under construction property, I think your due diligence should be at that highest level.
Prashant, you read my mind. You literally read my mind. That was going to be my next question, and that is under construction property. Now, buying a ready-made property would still be easier because you know what you are getting. You've seen it, so it's not a problem. But for under construction properties, as a buyer, I would obviously be tempted because prices will be way lower. And to top it, the builder, just because he needs the finances to complete the project, is going to dole out all the goodies and all the offers. But like you mentioned, builders are very cash strapped, right? So what sort of, isn't it a bit scary? Because what if the builder, even though I give him my money and maybe there are a couple of others, is still not able to complete the project because of lack of finances? When I'm sort of giving the money, when I'm reading the offer document, what are the red flags that sort of should prompt the buyer that listen, maybe stay away from this project, or maybe this builder may not be able to complete the project? What can be read which would lead the buyers to sort of tread with caution?
The thumb rule at this point of time would be to stick with the grade A developer, a developer which has a good execution and delivery record. And in this market, there are, obviously a few renowned developers who have a track record of delivering on time. The second most important thing that a buyer must focus on is the number of projects that is currently being done by that particular developer. If that developer has, too many projects under construction, I think he runs the risk of project delay or project not being completed in this current situation. But I think from a buyer's point of view, I would suggest that since there are a number of projects which are ready to move in, and there are a good amount of projects which are at the later stage of construction, where hardly 6 months to 1 year of construction is left. I think they should focus more on that part rather than buying an early stage of construction just to get some price benefit. They should avoid a project which is has been recently launched, or let's say there's no progress or significant progress made. And also, one of the red flags that I would look while buying a project which is under construction is to see whether the construction is happening or not. In the backdrop of migration of construction workers, the project work has come to a standstill. So that is also going to cause further delay. As we speak, close to 4.5 lakhs of units were supposed to be delivered by the end of 2020. These number of units are obviously, to be delayed because of lack of construction workers in the site. So these things will have a cascading effect on the other ongoing projects of a developer. So in my opinion, first preference should be ready to move in. And if you're really interested in under construction, focus on projects which are nearing completion. The third parameter would be, if you are going for under construction projects, stick with grade A developers.
All right, so some very simple tips. Firstly, this is a end users market, which means if you've been buying a bigger house for yourself, a different locality, a home in a different locality for yourself, now is the time to do so. Secondly, reputed buyer. And thirdly, try to pick a property that's nearing completion or is completed already. These are some very simple tips to follow amid this entire crisis that we are witnessing. That will also ensure that your money, the upfront money that you pay as well, does not get stuck. Prashant, thank you so much for joining us today on the show and sharing these simple and efficient tips with our viewers. Be careful of any of these schemes and discounts given by developers. Even if it's tempting, there is a possibility that the developer is giving it to you out of sheer desperation and he or she may not of people to complete the project, which will lead to your upfront amount as well getting stuck. We'll wrap it up on the Money Show. Thanks for watching. Enjoy your weekend.